Hello and welcome to the lecture number 5, Project Scope Management. Um, First of all, I want to thank you all of who have sent me email through the site PMP Educator. Please keep sending me emails and I will try to answer your questions. And also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is also PMP Educator. In the previous lecture, we were going through the collect requirements process, and I discussed the input and some tools and techniques. I will continue this lecture with some additional tools in the process. Uh, some tools which are used in this process will be discussed in this lecture, and the first is the questionnaires and surveys. Um, they are actually used for the broad audience. When you want to get information for a broader audience, you send them surveys and also questionnaires. Nowadays, it is very common to send web-based surveys or send questionnaires by email. The idea is to get as much information from a broader audience as possible, and this requires that whenever you get the surveys or questionnaire back, you have a better understanding to do a statistical analysis. Um, the next tools and technique in this process is the prototype. A prototype is a working model, so you have something to show to your client or the stakeholder so that they can play with it and they can use it and they can give you suggestion that what improvement you can have or what feature is missing or what feature is not desired or too complex. An example in the software is the beta version which they release in the initial phase. Remember when Gmail was launched, they actually launched a beta version, and I think they're still in the beta version, but a lot of people are using it. But the idea is to, when they have the beta version for a software, that means it is some sort of a prototype. The next tool is the facilitated workshop. The idea of a workshop is to arrange some focus sessions to bring cross-functional stakeholders together. When you have a workshop, then you have people or stakeholders working together, and there's a better chance that you have an increased consensus among stakeholders because they are working together and they are co-located for a certain duration, and it's more efficient to get information or the requirement in such a session. It's a quick way to identify and resolve issues too, so that if you have some issues, because a lot of stakeholders are together in those workshops, you will easily find a resolution for those issues, and also you can also identify some new issues for a certain um, project or for a certain feature which is required in your project. A typical example of facilitated workshops in software industry is JAD, which is Joint Application Development Session, where you have developers working together with business analysts and other people in the team to have a joint application development session to get as much information as possible, because you have a lot of stakeholders working together. In manufacturing, you have also similar techniques called QFD, which is the quality function deployment. Um, There are some other techniques. One is group creativity technique. Group creativity techniques basically focuses a group. So you have multiple people working working together to get to be more creative. We can say. Uh, there are some techniques in this tool, which is called group creativity technique. Number one is the brainstorming. Brainstorming is the session where you have multiple people working on, talking together about some ideas. So you have multiple ideas coming out of that session. A nominal group technique is brainstorming. It's the same thing which is done in the brainstorming, but it has inclusion of voting. So you have brainstorming, but you have people voting for those ideas. So you have more like majority idea of, the idea which gets majority has a better chance to pursue further. Delphi technique is a technique where you have selected survey sent to experts, and they reply, they reply to that survey, and it is sent to a mediator so that those people remain anonymous. This technique is used with multiple iteration, and we will go through these techniques in the next lecture series. But at this time, I just want to mention those techniques. And there are two more techniques. One is idea mind mapping, where you when during the brainstorming session you have different ideas, but in this technique you also want to map commonality and differences, so that you can identify what ideas are common between a group of people and what are the differences. Affinity diagram is a process or a diagramming technique where you group ideas sorted according to the group. So you collect the ideas and then sort them in groups so that you have different listing of ideas in different groups. We will go through all these techniques in the next lecture series, but at this time you just need to identify the techniques within the group creativity. The next technique is the group decision making technique. In the collection requirements process, the group has to decide whether that idea needs to pursue, or you need to kill that idea. So there are some techniques for making decision by the group. First is where everybody supports the idea, and you have unanimous decision. Then we have the majority, where you need more than 50% support to continue with that idea. And then you have another technique for the decision making, which is based on plurality, where the largest block decides that whether the idea should go or should stay. And then finally we have the dictatorship, where just one person decides in the group that which ideas should be included when you are doing the requirements collection, and which ideas are not ready to go ahead. And that's all I have for this lecture. I will discuss the output for this process in the next lecture, which will be lecture number 6. Thank you.